Yo, 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 what's good, my dudes? We back in the saddle with another YouTube banger, and today we're going to be talking about what are the best cards in Skyweaver. This is useful for players who want to get better at the game. It's also useful for speculators who want to just invest in the game passively. So it's a worthwhile question and one that I have the answer to. So if you're curious what cards are strong in each of the 5 prisms in Skyweaver, stay tuned. We're basically going to go through each of the prisms individually. I'm going to give you the top 3 cards in each prism. And a little caveat here, the information that I'm using to determine the best 3 cards, it's not just based on my own personal opinion. It's going to actually be based on the win rate of these cards in discovery mode. So it's not based on any specific elo, but it is based on a specific mode, and that is discovery mode. So keep in mind, the strength of these cards is not really taking into account their full combo potential. So with that out of the way, let's dive right into it with strength and talk about the 3 strongest strength cards according to win rate. The first is going to be Aegis of Light. Aegis of Light is the highest win rate card in strength right now. If you get it in your deck, you're a lucky dog. After Aegis of Light, actually, you know what? Let's talk about why it's strong. It's strong because it's such a good value card. If you get it to pop off, then you really just take over the board in a way that's almost impossible for your opponent to come back from. It's a 5-cost card, but it gives a target ally unit +3/+3, guard, and a shield. The shield in particular makes it so easy to trade with it and gain value, insane amount of value. And just as a little cherry on top, it does give blind to the enemy units. So that's why Aegis is strong. But what comes after Aegis? This one might be a surprise to a lot of people. Believe it or not, it's actually Rumbo. Rumbo at 5 cost 3/4 doesn't seem all that great, but it's so damn sticky. The death of it is it draws and summons a 3-cost unit with anima. Basically, it's a value dynamo. Once this card is on the board, there's basically no way it doesn't get a 2-for-1, and for that reason, it tends to do really well in Discovery. And coming in 3rd place for strength is another sleeper. People don't realize just how strong it is. It's actually Beetle, a 4-cost 3/3 that has traits for days. It has them all. We're talking guard, we're talking armor, we're talking wither, and we're talking lifesteal. And just in case that wasn't enough value, the goddamn card has fate, so it's going to draw you something else after it dies. That's why this card is strong, and if you haven't realized it yet, strength wants value, baby, and all 3 of its strongest cards give that in spades. That being said, let's go on to Wisdom now. What are the 3 top cards in Wisdom? Well, we have, first off is Fire Noble. This card is actually the highest win rate Wisdom card in Discovery by a large margin, but not the largest of margins. Still, Fire Noble, a 3/3 for 3, and when you summon it, it does 1 damage to enemies. It's that ping that really, really makes it strong, but the lifesteal also is an interesting little feature because the do 1 damage to enemies text doesn't exclude the opponent's face, so you will be getting a little bit of heal from the card the moment you play it. After Fire Noble is Grasping Maiden. Grasping Maiden here, anyone can see the strength of this one. It's a 5-mana 3/6, but when you play it, it dusts the target unit, so you can really use it to clear off a big old beast on the opposing side of the board. Sure, when the card dies, it brings it back, but by that point, you've already steamrolled your opponent, hopefully, and they're basically halfway in the grave. And the 3rd place card for Wisdom, based on Discovery win rates, is Quadra. And this card is so awkward to clear. A 4-mana 4/4 that does 1 damage to a random enemy unit without armor 4 times. That's a hell of a death rattle, and the fact that it has guard means you're going to get that death rattle basically every time. Moving on from wisdom, next up is agility. The top card with the highest win rate in agility. Again, it's a value card, baby. We're talking totem earth unit with guard and banner, and it draws and summons 3 1-cost units after it dies. The banner on this card is, in my opinion, one of its best features. It makes it so easy to play on curve because the banner can allow you to trade into your opponent's board really efficiently often. And then once this dies, you have an entire board filled with creatures that you can pump up with a Wane Blade, that you can pump up with some sort of sword. Who knows? But you have a lot of options with that baddie. Second place for agility is Mountain Lion. This big old bastard, big old fat bastard, he is a 7-mana 6/6 with a shield, guard, and banner. But the card text is what really makes him unique, and that's because it gives banner twice as much, not just for Mountain Lion himself, but for any other cards you have banner with. Now, the reason it's so powerful here is because agility has more banner cards than any other prism, so you're almost guaranteed to get this card to pop off. And last but not least, in fact, it is kind of least for agility, well, least out of the top 3, that is Disciple of Gusto. Disciple of Gusto has stealth, banner. It's a 4-mana 4/3. But the cool thing about it is it allows you to trade the board with your face using Samya's speed, using all kinds of shady tactics. Well, maybe not shady, but all kinds of Samya type tactics to get through, clear the board using your face and not take any damage doing it. The Shroud on this card makes it extra sticky. Even though it's 3 health, it'll probably stick around and give you value every time it's played. It always feels good to play it. It always feels good to have it in your hand. And that's why Disciple of Gusto is the 3rd highest win rate card in Discovery for agility. All right, moving on to Heart now. We have a card that actually has the largest gap. This is the largest gap between this card and every other card in the prism. No other prism has such a huge divide between the first place card and the second place. So what is it? Well, Heart has Olympia. Olympia is actually by and just far and away the strongest card in Discovery for Heart. That's because it's a 3/3 with a really valuable attachment. It does have guard, it does have lifesteal, but it's the Gift of Kai that makes it extra special. It gives ally units +1 health and banner. That's a finisher and a half every time. If you're not sure what your win condition is, check your deck, because if Olympia's sitting in there, now you know. After Olympia comes another really powerful card. We're talking Mushroom here. This is value on top of value. You summon a fun guy on the summon, and it gives you a stealth fun guy, which, if you, just for those who don't know, fun guy is another guard lifesteal, and it buffs up your whole board when it dies. And if that's not enough, it adds a Doomshroom to your deck. So this is like one of those weird sort of little like nesting dolls or whatever. This is a shroom within a shroom within a shroom. And Mushroom's, yeah, well, she's the mother of them all. And coming in 3rd place for Heart is faroness. For some reason, he's not showing up. Here he is. Faroness, we have a 9/4/7, so expensive as fuck, but it has guard, so it'll protect your face for the late game. And the Sunset ability, here's what makes it. Sunset, summon your bottom dead unit as a 4/4 with guard. What? That's actually insane and hard, and it's enough to win you the game more often than not. That's why it's the 3rd place, the 3rd highest win rate card for Hard. Okay, moving on to the very last prism. Now we're talking Int, baby. So does this have any strong cards at all? In fact, it does, and the number 1 place goes to Whipvine. Whipvine is just so cheap and so versatile. That's because when it dies, it attaches roots to enemy units. That can take care of really good attachments, and it can slow them down so you can get to your late game that you need. Whipvine, just the Swiss Army knife of int cards, and that's why it ends up at #1 for int, believe it or not. Second place comes Lily, and Lily is a really versatile card. She has attachment, she has banner, and she has this nifty little hoplite that she summons whenever she is summoned. And the hoplite, well, it returns to hand on sunrise, but a 2/3 with armor and guard can be really, really tough to remove unless you have the perfect answer in hand. Just in case the hoplite value wasn't enough, you do in fact get an attachment called Orchid, which gives all the units in your hand +1/+1, and it gives spells -1 cost, and you gain 1 mana next turn. So lots of value and a really versatile card make it actually #2 for intellect, discovery, win rate cards. Okay, and the very last card, guys, we've made it all the way through. Congratulations if you've made it this far. The third place card for intellect, you guessed it, it's Hive. It's that big, beefy bee's nest that just generates value from here to the end of infinity, end of eternity. It's a 5/1/5 with the best trait in the game. That's armor. It has a zap, so it does something the turn it's played. And if that wasn't enough, it summons bees endlessly. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. I hope this was helpful for those of you who want to get a little bit better at discovery, who just want to have a better idea of what cards are strong, and maybe those of you who want to speculate by buying up some gold cards. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. If you liked the video, be sure to hit like. If you didn't like the video, well, hit the like button anyway, because there are no downvote buttons anymore, so you're kind of screwed. Either way, thanks, guys, for tuning in. See you.